What up, Chris? Back here again. Two videos shot in the same day, so no, I'm not wearing the same shirt 2 days in a row. Not that there's anything wrong with that. If that's what you want to do. It's all good. UFC 152. Jon Jones, Vitor Belfort predictions. Just going to do the main card. The undercard, not really too interested in any of the fights, although I am interested to see how Jimmy Hedges does against Marcus Brimage. I think that should be a fun fight. Hedges seems to be a hot prospect in the sport. But as we all know, the road here has been a tumultuous one. Jones was supposed to originally defend his title against Dan Henderson. We know Hendo got hurt. We know Jones turned down Chael Sonnen as opponent. And we know Lyoto Machida declined the rematch at that time with Jon Jones, which brings us somehow to Vitor Belfort. Before I address that fight, real quick on the undercard, or not the undercard, but the pay-per-view card. First fight, I believe, Charles Oliveira, Cub Swanson. I expect this to be a good fight. One of the best of, if not the best fight of the night. Hard to say. The co-main event should be pretty damn good as well. But this is a close fight, you know. It was one that's tough to call. I favor Oliveira slightly because I think Cub hits a little bit harder, but I think they're pretty much even on the feet. But I give Oliveira advantage on the ground with the submission, so I'll go with Oliveira to win this one. Should be a good one. Good way to start the pay-per-view, though. Matt Hamill, Roger Hollett. I was surprised to hear that Matt Hamill was coming back. Not that I think he was completely done when he retired, although it looked like it when he got his ass kicked by Gustafsson. But I don't know. It just seems like he's not the kind of guy that needs to keep fighting. But apparently he wants to for one reason or another. I think he's fortunate that Vladimir Machchenko got hurt. I don't know how the time off. It probably has helped Hamill. No time to recharge the batteries. So I see him getting a win against Roger Hollett. Matt Hamill by decision. Be curious to see how he looks after a year off. You know, what is his how much desire I guess he has to still be in there. You always kind of have to question that when a guy has retired and then come back, even if it has been a relatively short time. Michael Bisping, Brian Stann, a fight that seems like it's been long in the making, you know. Seems like people have wanted to see these guys fight forever since Stann moved down to 185. Finally happening. Got the whole USA versus UK storyline, I guess you can run with. The All-American hero or whatever against the brash Brit. And in this one, I'm going to favor the Brit, Michael Bisping. Brian Stann hits harder and may have a better chin. May. That's about it. Bisping's more slick grappler. I don't know who's a better wrestler. I don't think it's really going to matter in this fight. But Bisping's just a more well-rounded striker. I think he's just going to, outpoint Stann on the feet over the fight. Maybe Stann can land a big shot a la Dan Henderson and hurt Bisping, but I don't know if that's going to be the case or not. We shall see. Not to say Stann hits as hard as Henderson, I'm not for sure. But I don't think I don't know. He's a little bit flat-footed. He has improved since training with Greg Jackson, but I favor Bisping in this one. And I think if Bisping wants to get this fight to the ground for whatever reason, and he can put Stann on his back, he could really do some good work from there, because as we saw, most notably in the Chael Sonnen fight, Brian Stann just is not good off his back at all. Not to say that Michael Bisping is Chael Sonnen in the wrestling department. But I'll go with Bisping by decision. Co-main event of the night, which was originally the main event, Joseph Benavidez versus Demetrius Johnson for the inaugural UFC flyweight title. I always underestimate Demetrius Johnson. I think I'm just not really impressed with him overall as a fighter. Not that I don't think he's a good fighter. He just doesn't really do anything that stands out to me. He's really fast, I'll give him that. But he's like a smaller version of Frankie Edgar, but with less power. Less entertaining, in my opinion. He moves fast, in and out, strikes, gets takedowns, never really does much damage when he's in top control. He just doesn't really do a lot of damage ever when I see him fighting, which is probably why I'm not the biggest fan of his, But as for Benavidez, it's funny this fight got made before there was a flyweight division. Everyone said if there ever is a flyweight division, 125-pound division UFC, it should be Benavidez and Johnson dropping down to fight for the title. And ultimately that's what happened after a little tournament. That's how we arrived at this fight. Benavidez, I favor him in this fight. I think he's just a better overall fighter than Demetrius Johnson. He is, I don't know who's the better wrestler. I think it's about even there. I think Joseph Benavidez is a better grappler, hence the Jiu-Jitsu nickname he goes by. And I think he hits harder. I don't know if he is necessarily a better striker in technique-wise, but I think he hits harder. So I'm going to favor Benavidez because I think he's a better overall fighter. And he may not be as quick as Demetrius Johnson, but he's not a lot slower if he is at all. So I'll go with Benavidez, but I'll say by decision because I got to give Demetrius Johnson credit. Both guys have lost to Dominic Cruz, but I think Benavidez did better in those fights. His fights and Demetrius did, so that's another reason why I favor Joseph Benavidez to win this fight and become the inaugural first ever UFC flyweight champion. And it's not because he's fighting out of Sacramento. Main event, Jon Jones, Vitor Belfort. Already discussed how we got here. Jones coming off that dominant decision victory over Rashad Evans. Vitor, it's been a while since he fought. He's supposed to fight Vanderlei, but he got hurt. He was set to fight Belcher, but obviously that's not happening because this fight came to be. His last fight was a rear naked choke win over Anthony Johnson. Vitor Belfort. Well, he's now training with Rashad Evans in the Black Zillion, so I suppose that will benefit him, although obviously that and the familiarity with Jon Jones did not help Rashad Evans one bit in his fight against Jon Jones. He pretty much got shut out. As for this one, is Vitor a bigger threat than Dan Henderson? I don't know. They both have a puncher's chance. That's pretty much either Hendo or Vitor's chance against Jones. Vitor, I don't know if he hits quite as hard as Dan Henderson. It's close. I don't know. I'd probably say Hendo hits just a tad harder, but not by much. Vitor, however, has got a much faster hands, so he may have more likeliness to be able to catch that one lucky punch that he's going to need. Not lucky punch, but that one KO punch that he's going to need to win this fight. However, I don't see it happening. Said it time and again. Jon Jones, better than anyone in the sport of MMA, uses distance to his advantage. He uses his height and reach advantage perfectly. He keeps guys at bay. They can't get close. Plus, he's quick as hell, so he can evade any. Machida caught him once in the first round of their fight, but come second round he got tapped out, or he got choked unconscious, I should say so. Wasn't really all that successful. Got to go Jon Jones and win this fight. And I think, considering all the heat and backlash he's caught from turning down the Chael Sonnen fight, from Dana White, from fans, from fellow fighters, I think that Jon Jones is going to want to go out there and make a statement and really just kind of shove it in people's face and shut their mouths. And in that case, he's going to want to take Vitor out and win impressively. And I think he gets it done within 3 rounds. Vitor's probably going to come out for a fast start, but after that, after he doesn't have much success, I think Jones is just going to pick him apart. And I think Jon could get a submission, a standing guillotine win, possibly in the clinch, much like Alistair Overeem did in his first fight against Vitor. But I think the more likely scenario is once Vitor tires out after a round and a half or two, I think Jon takes him down to the ground and just punishes him from on top and probably wins by stoppage, from elbows or punches just from top position. I think he's just going to absolutely destroy Vitor, because although Vitor has a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, outside of wins over Bobby Southworth and Anthony Johnson for what those submissions are worth considering the opposition, what has he ever really shown you in the Jiu-Jitsu department? So Jon Jones by stoppage within 3 rounds. All right. Thoughts on the event? Thoughts on the fights? Want to hear your guys' what you're looking forward to, who you're picking and why. And, if you're picking Vitor Belfort, you'll probably be the first person I talk to that is. But let me know why and how you see him getting it done. But if not, how do you see Jon Jones winning this fight and in what round? That's it for now. Probably be back to talk about this event Saturday night after the fights. Talked about it a lot more in depth on yesterday's Science Finance Radio Show or on Science Finance this past weekend Science Finance Radio Show. Links to that and everything else Science Finance related, as well as my Twitter and the information part of the video. As always, that's it for now. Till next time.